Hello, my name is Steve, and welcome to Unboxing the Boxes, the Star Wars collection. This is episode 5, the original action figures. Thank you for joining me for another episode as I rediscover what I have in my Star Wars collection. After making the first 4 episodes, I've had people asking me to show the toys. After all, toys are the bulk of my collection. So with this show, I'm going to go all the way back to the late 1970s and find out what I have in the vintage action figures from that time period. I had to do a little prep work for this one. So we're going to kind of be going through a couple different things at the same time here. First of all, when I bought the action figures back then, I was only in my late teens. Didn't have a whole lot of money, but I found enough to start collecting some stuff. And I bought some of the original action figures. And of course, I took them off the cards because I wanted to display them on the shelf and so forth. But I saved the cards. So that's what's in this notebook here. In here, I have the cards of the original action figures. And you'll notice that the cards have been cut out of the corners. And there's a reason for that. And I'm going to show you that later because that was for something you could mail in for. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you what that was. So, in this box, this little box here, yes, this is a carrying case. In fact, how do you like that? I believe this is the original first carrying case for Star Wars action figures. In fact, if we open this up, oh, by the way, you notice it's in very good condition. That's because it's been stored away for many, many years. Over 40 to be exact. In fact, when I open this up, you'll see the inside cover is still very good. The snap is in very good condition. And I even have the original stickers for all the action figures. I have a little booklet that showed some of the stuff that came out. And this is really neat. I have the card that shows what the action figures were. Both sides. So we got kind of the main characters on one side and the supporting characters on the other side. First of all, do we have Luke Skywalker? Let me pull this back a little bit here. Let's see if we have Luke Skywalker, and yes, we do. Now, unfortunately, this is not the Luke Skywalker that everybody wants, because this is just a single telescoping lightsaber. And I believe the one that everybody craves is the double telescoping lightsaber. So, but I do have Luke. So let's put him over here. And I don't think, well, we could try standing them. I don't know if they'll stay standing. There we go. So there's Luke. Luke is not being very cooperative. Okay. Princess Leia. And yes, we do have Princess Leia. One thing I've noticed with Princess Leia is she's getting a little white. I think there's been a bit of dust and maybe a little chalking occurring. But we still have her in the cape. So there's Princess Leia. Next one, R2-D2. Oh, yes, of course, we have R2-D2 with his rotating and clicking head. Next in line, C-3PO. And we do have C-3PO. I have noticed this arm is still kind of tight. This arm is getting kind of loose. I must have either played with him for a while or maybe Maybe it's just wearing out. But there is C-3PO. Let's turn the page, see what else we got here. Chewbacca. There is Chewbacca in all his roaring glory. You'll notice the figures of this time period were a lot simpler than what we see now with figures. Han Solo? Well, of course we have Han Solo. And here again, Han Solo is got a little bit of whiteness occurring to him, especially on his legs. I don't know if you can see that or not. He did have a lot more on the side of the leg, and I kind of just dabbed it a little bit and was able to brush that off. So I think a lot of that whiteness can be removed if I spend a little time with him. So there's Han Solo. Obi-Wan Kenobi. There he is. I have Obi-Wan Kenobi in his vinyl robe. And there again, you can see his legs are turning white, including his arm is turning white. But there again, I think a lot of that can wash off. And Kenobi has the single telescoping arm. Blue lightsaber in this case, where Luke has a yellow lightsaber. Okay. Darth Vader. Yes, sir, I do have Darth Vader. And you can see, yeah, his skull has really gotten white. I need to maybe get a toothbrush or something very soft bristled and try to clean him off a little bit. Unfortunately, somewhere along the line, I lost Darth Vader's lightsaber. So that just kind of decreased the value of Darth Vader here. But I do have Darth Vader, I just don't have the lightsaber with him anymore. Let's see what's next on the page. Stormtrooper. Oh, but of course, we gotta have the Stormtrooper, right? There you are. Pretty good shape. And the Death Squad Commander. Well, you can't have a Death Star if you don't have a Death Squad Commander. Are you going to stand? Yes, there you are. Next, we got to have a sand person, right? Representing the sand people. And yes, we do have one. So there is the sand person. And of course, do we have a Jawa? Yeah. Now here's the kicker. The Jawas, originally I believe, oh, Chewbacca, stay up there. Cute. Now they're all going to start falling over on me. There's a couple different Jawas. They got different capes from that time period. The early ones, I believe, had a vinyl cape, and they replaced it with a cloth cape. Stay. Well, my Jawa doesn't have any cape. He's just the figure. Somewhere along the line, I lost the Jawa's cape. So there we go. That is the original line of the Star Wars action figures. In fact, I don't know. Yeah, I think, there we go. Chewbacca is loose. And all these figures, maybe I'll just take this off for a moment. All these figures are listed on the back of this. The reason I'm hiding the card is because that's what I'm going to show you later. So there you can see them all right along here. So yes, we do have the original action figures. Now I do have more because later in this book, I don't know if you want to call it the second wave or not, but there was more action figures, of course. And I don't have the cards for all of these anymore, but I do have some of them. For example, the Death Star droid. There we go. Stay. The power droid. Or as some people call him, the gunk droid. And you can hear his legs click as he walks. Of course, you got to move his legs. They don't stay by themselves. Or they don't move by themselves, I should say. If we move ahead a little bit, R5D4, if you remember from the original movie, he's the little droid whose head kind of blew up. And thus the Owens chose R2D2. And yes, we do have him. And he's got a little swivel in his head. Of course, his legs move. We'll put him over by R2D2. Okay. Luke Skywalker, Rebel pilot. And there he is. Let's put him over here. Let's put him over here. Okay, next one, Hammerhead. That's what they called him back then, Hammerhead. And here he is in all his glory. We'll put him next to Luke. Greedo. Oh, what would a Star Wars collection be without Greedo? So there we go. Greedo for your enjoyment. And I don't know if Greedo had a cape or not. If he did, I don't have it anymore. Well, Greedo just died. He got shot. Moving on. Walrus Man. Of course, all these guys actually have names now. Back then, they were not named as individual characters or individual races. So Kenner basically just took what they look like and made their name. Now you'll notice, according to the card, he was supposed to have a brown vest, but for some reason, the action figure has an orange vest with blue arms and legs. So kind of a little weird there. And then Snaggletooth. Yeah, I got a feeling he's a little different too. But here again, Kenner didn't really know a whole lot about him, so they just made the best little action figure they could. And if I recall correctly, this is not the first Snaggletooth. I think the very first one, if I recall correctly, was as big as most of the action figures because Kenner did not know how big he actually was. So this might have been the second round of making that character, if I'm correct. Now, I thought one of these were loose because you'll notice here too, I cut out the UPC symbols. This is the one. And I cut those out because, if I recall correctly, you could get Boba Fett. Now, originally, he was supposed to have a firing jetpack. Well, they decided that that was a hazard for kids. So, Boba Fett has just a jetpack, but it doesn't fire anymore. Now, you'll see all these action figures. Do I have the weapons for them? Well, I have quite a few of them. And they're right there. They're all kind of thrown together in a heap. So if I was going to put these together, I'd have to go through and try to figure out who gets one. This one I would probably guess is the Sand People's because it's a pretty skinny rifle. But most of the weapons, as you can see, are blue. Although there are a few black ones mixed in there. So I did try to keep the weapons. I don't know if I've got them for everybody anymore, but I do have quite a few of them. Now, remember I was talking about that the original cards you could mail in for something special. Well, I am about to show you that something special. Let me get this stuff out of the way here. Because that something special mail-in rebate is something I don't think you're going to see very often anymore. And that is the stand where you could display your action figures. And yes, this is what I used to display the original ones. So on the bottom here, we've got the Jawa, the Stormtrooper, the Death Squad Commander, C-3PO, Darth Vader, Ben Kenobi, Sand People, Luke Skywalker, Chewbacca, Han Solo, Princess Leia, and R2-D2. And one thing that is kind of cool about this, they do have little pegs that you can put the feet of the people into, like so. And I'm just randomly choosing these. I don't know which one is right in front. But they've got these little gears then that you can actually play around and turn them. Kind of nifty. But like I say, this is one thing I'm kind of proud of yet, because I don't think there's a whole lot of these out there anymore. Kids played with them and they basically destroyed them. After all, the back here is just a piece of cardboard. This is not too bad for plastic. There's what the bottom looks like with all the gears. So anyway, there is my vintage Star Wars collection. But you know what? That took care of just the earliest stuff. There's a second tray in this carrying case yet. And we will cover those in the next video. So, there we are. And thus that ends today's collection. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the action figures here. Maybe we should get Luke Skywalker to stand back up again. Now he's being a little bit of a pain to do it. There we go. So, anyway, this brings us to the end of the show. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll end again by saying, may the Force be with you, and keep collecting. See you next time. I ask you to leave a comment. Like the video, of course. Give it a thumbs up. And subscribe to the video. After all, I'd like to know if I should keep making them or not.